Good evening, everyone. I'm glad you could make it to this Tuesday's nighttime stream or morning stream, depending on where you are. Hope you had a fantastic day. And yeah, let me know in the chat where you're from. Make sure to leave a like, as well as tell me if the audio and video quality is looking good, so that I'm not talking to no one during this stream. I've got some fantastic news, but we'll start in a few minutes. Definitely let me know if everything's looking and sounding great. If you're watching this later on, I'm probably going to be taking some snippets and uploading them to my channel, depending on which questions were asked or what topics I'm covering. So in today's video, we'll be covering quite a few topics. We're going to be looking at some larger pictures of the Ethereum price, what it's looking like at the moment, what I hope is going to happen, like what kind of daily closes, as well as a bit of a monthly perspective of where the price can go. And I also want to look at some super interesting news. There's been massive bullish news for the cryptocurrency space, but especially for the Ethereum blockchain, and that's concerning banks. We'll be talking that after there. Hi guys in the chat, my camera view, we will hit 11,000 before the video starts. Yeah, that's possibly something that might happen. Gunther, welcome back. New all-time high tonight. Well, that would be fantastic. I wouldn't complain about that. ETH 1K was fantastic. Yeah, I was really happy with the price over the last few days. So this is great. Crypto Yoda future, I see ETH big will be. Yes, sir. ETH is the future, and people that understand ETH are super bullish because they understand what ETH will bring to the financial space. If you haven't already, make sure to follow me on Twitter. I recently started a Twitter account where I'll be posting some DeFi gems, cryptocurrency news, super important information that I just stumble upon and I think that you need to know about. So I'll be posting it there before I actually make a video about it. So if you want to stay in the know, make sure to follow me on Twitter. I'll be posting a few times a day, depending on what kind of news is relevant. And yeah, there's quite a few interesting things that has happened. And we'll be covering that soon. The altcoin space is going to thrive, the altcoin prices. But I think what we'll do first is we're going to quickly look at the overall market, how it's been performing. I mean, Bitcoin has slowed down a little bit, so that gave other cryptocurrencies some space to breathe. So let's see how the cryptocurrency space has actually performed. And if you've got a few of these assets, apart from XRP, then probably you're in the green. So of course, if you've got Bitcoin, it's been moving a little bit sideways after topping out around 36,000, I believe. Now it's a steady 33,000, 6.8% increase over the last 24 hours, which is pretty good. Now, of course, we've got our top contender for the evening, which is, of course, our favorite darling Ethereum. 8%, 48% over the last 7 days. So definitely some of you ETH holders are really reaping the benefits of buying cheap in 2020, at the beginning of 2020 especially. So yeah, I mean, just a week ago, ETH was maybe around $650. So had a massive pump. Really happy about that. Over 1K. Now XRP is at 22 cents, and the funny thing is I actually made a bet with a friend of mine about 6 or 7 months ago. It was in July 2020, and I actually bet him that Cardano would actually surpass the price of XRP, not in market cap but just in price per token, and that actually happened. So Cardano is now at 24 cents. Nearly 25 cents, and XRP is 22.8 cents. So I've got a little bit of XRP news. in this video. Also got some Polkadot news in this video, which is super interesting since also working towards developing in the DeFi space. And me personally, I'm not a maximalist. I like all types of most types of cryptocurrencies. I mean, I'm a big fan of Bitcoin, the store of value. Ethereum is fantastic. The only thing at the moment that is really bad with Ethereum is, of course, the fees. It's a rich man's game to use any DeFi apps with low amounts of money, which is which is not so good. So hopefully layer 2 and Ethereum 2.0 will be soon. But as Ethereum is steadily moving towards Ethereum 2.0, others are slowly catching up. You've got Polkadot and Cardano I see as biggest contenders, grabbing a slice of the DeFi pie. So yeah, more about Polkadot. At the end of the video, I'll be talking about 3 actually projects I think are pretty interesting to follow on the Polkadot blockchain. So let's quickly look at Ethereum, how it's been performing in the last few days. Actually, I don't want to show this as the first thing. I would like to show you the ETH USD price. I think that's more important at the moment. And then we can look at the ETH BTC ratio, because that's also very important. At the moment, ETH is pretty undervalued compared to Bitcoin. So again, we've got the Ichimoku cloud. Don't be confused with the Ichimoku cloud. It's super easy to actually use as an indicator. So we've got this cloud here, which actually is blue, which means a bullish trend, and we're above the cloud. Now, yesterday we actually broke past the $1,000 range, and typically what we want to see is a close above this $1,000 range, and that we actually saw. We saw a close yesterday above the range. We're looking at the daily price chart, and next up we've got the $1,400 resistance, which is pretty good. But it's possible, since we had a massive rally, that we move sideways a little bit. Very often when there's a massive pump, the price of an asset tends to move sideways, which is actually very healthy, because you don't want to have a massive pump up, because very often with a massive pump up you're going to have a massive correction. And if you remember the XRP it's very good to have the small corrections and working sideways at the same time, because otherwise you're going to have the same thing as XRP. I just see Danny Matinley just noticed this is going up against a bankless live stream. Bad timing. Well, I didn't realize that. You can watch it afterwards. So let's have a look at ETH BTC, because this is actually one of the more important metrics to compare ETH with. You always want to compare ETH with BTC, as BTC is at the moment the strongest player in the space. ETH is catching up, but Bitcoin still has a very strong magnet. Yeah, attracts a lot of people into the space. And that means also that when Bitcoin goes up massively, the other altcoins drop massively. That's why you probably lose in sats when Bitcoin is increasing in value. And that's why it's very important when you've got your portfolio that you compare your portfolio with ETH and BTC. So at the moment, here we've got the cloud again, and a few days, or actually a week or two ago, we were at all-time lows. We had a double bottom for the ETH BTC ratio, which was at around 23,000. Great, 23,000 sats. And now we actually pushed past the cloud, and this is very good. So now what we want to see is actually we want to have this price or this ratio break above the cloud, and then we'll have a bullish trend for the ETH BTC price. Now that doesn't automatically mean that the ETH price goes up. It could also mean that the BTC price goes down. So I think this is important because the higher this ratio is for ETH, the more ETH you can buy, the more BTC you can buy with ETH. And that's actually what you want. You don't want to measure in USD, since USD is always losing in value. The ETH will always be automatically more valuable. Like for example, if ETH remains at $1,000 and next year it's also at $1,000, it's still going to be more valuable because you're going to have a higher purchasing power. So Bank Chamber, hi, greetings, glad you can make it to the chat. If AETH is interest bearing ETH, how do I make it gain interest? I would like to use DeFi in some form only. I'm not 100% sure where the AETH is used in which DeFi apps. I believe it's from Aave, the Aave ETH. I know SETH, the Synthetics ETH ERC20 token, is used on Curve Finance, but I'm not sure which DeFi apps are using Aave ETH. However, I would recommend using either Lido Finance. You can buy some STETH, which is staked ETH. That would increase in value if you want to earn some interest with ETH. You can also add liquidity to a pool on Curve Finance. You can add both ETH and SETH, which is the synthetic ETH. It's possible that Lido is using the same ERC20 token then as Anchor. That's also a possibility concerning the STETH. So I'll have to see. Sometimes they're code very similarly. It's easy to confuse to mix them up. So that was it a bit about the ETH BTC trend. Me personally, I'm looking for a close above the cloud, because this is going to be important and shows actually a longer term bullish trend for Ethereum compared to Bitcoin, meaning that Ethereum will be gaining more and more in value compared to Bitcoin. And what I'd really like to see is actually reaching the top, the last all-time high for the ETH BTC ratio, which would be 40,000 sats, and that was at the beginning of mid 2020, during the DeFi summer, where BTC was trading mostly sideways. So let's go over to some other news. We've got, which is pretty fantastic, a new record on Ethereum 2.0, and that is the amount of ETH in USD valuation that is staked. So as you might know, Ethereum now has a new blockchain, the Ethereum 2.0 blockchain, which is running in parallel to the Ethereum 1.0 blockchain. And on this Ethereum 2.0 blockchain, people are locking up ETH in a deposit contract to secure this new proof of stake blockchain. And now an astonishing $2 billion is staked in Ethereum 2.0. And there are quite a few platforms that allow you to stake ETH. Anchor is one. Bank Chamber just mentioned that. That is a pretty good platform to stake as little as 0.1 ETH, which is fantastic, especially if you don't have the 32 ETH necessary. Rocket Pool, a big favorite among my subscribers, is hopefully going to release their staking in Q1 2021. Not sure if they announced a release, because actually what they want to do is they want to give validators the possibility to actually be completely non-custodial, and that it would only be possible with an implementation on Ethereum 2.0. So most of the other staking services where people can actually run nodes, they're not completely non-custodial. So most of them are actually custodial. So talking about Kraken, I mean, for smaller investors that have only small amounts of ETH, I I mean, Kraken is possibly good. It just goes against the whole idea behind crypto and the decentralized aspect of it. I mean, the thing is, when you actually store a cryptocurrency on an exchange, they can do what they want with your crypto because you don't have your keys. If you've got your keys, you can actually remove your crypto from your wallet. You can send it to another wallet. You can use DeFi apps and so on. So I think that's pretty good. You can also use some staking pools that are running on smart contracts, and in my opinion, that is a lot more safe than using a centralized exchange. I mean, you're free to use it. You have to use it at your own risk and realize that you're at the mercy of the exchange. If they decide to close your account, then that's it. You can't really do much about it. Read up on what happened with Mt. Gox. A lot of people lost millions of dollars in Bitcoin since they stored their Bitcoin on Mt. Gox account. And now I believe they started repaying a portion. I'm not sure if they already started repaying, but it's underway to repay a few of these Bitcoins that were lost. I believe it was in 2014, the Mt. Gox drama. So Kerem Tunk is asking, I want to buy right now. ETH, is it a good idea or too late? I think we're going to talk a little bit about the current phase that ETH is in terms of network effect. Maybe that gives you an impression on if it's too late or not. I think if you look at it from the big picture, like in the next 5 years, you're definitely early. But if you're thinking of making a quick buck and entering the market and then maybe making a 50, 60, 70% return on investment in a few months, then you're probably better off going to a casino and gambling, in my opinion. No, that's just a joke. But with the rise that, although the pumps that happen in the cryptocurrency space, you always have to be aware that there are always pullbacks, and people tend to notice coins only after they've pumped massively. So what is actually making you interested in ETH or the Ethereum blockchain? Is it the fact that it now pumped 50% on the last few days? Or is it the underlying technology behind this new blockchain? So you have to think about what actually interests you. If it's the second, and you understand the underlying technology and what it can bring to the whole world in terms of bringing traditional finance onto the internet and allow people to transact with each other in a trustless manner, and you see that the whole financial space will probably at some point be running on either Ethereum or a similar blockchain, well then, in my opinion, you're not too late. But yeah, you never really can time the market. It's possible it goes up another 100%, and it's possible it drops another 40 or 50%. Yeah, you never know. So the best is to if you're intending to buy and you don't have any debt, maybe dollar cost average, buy some. If there's a dip, you buy some more. A little story I remember back in 2017. I actually was already invested in Bitcoin, but I wanted to buy some more. And I was looking at the price of Bitcoin, and it was at around $800 or $900. And I was like thinking, all right, now I want to buy some Bitcoin. And I think I'll wait until it goes back down to $600. And then after a day or two later, Bitcoin's price is at $1,000. I'm going like, okay, I'll wait until it gets back to $800. And then a few days later, it's already at 1,200 and 1,400, 1,800. I'm like, oh crap, I'm missing out. So the thing is, then I did actually start, I bought some more, a lot more, at $1,800 US, and that was pretty good. And then I think 1 or 2 weeks later, the price actually dropped back down to $1,200 US. It was a very small dip, and I bought a little bit more. So that's basically the gist. Dollar cost average, make sure that you only invest how much you're willing to lose. It's possible it drops quite a lot in value. Don't put any money that you'll be needing in the next few weeks. If you're afraid of a correction one day, Kremtunk, then cryptocurrency is not for you. Most cryptos have had massive corrections. I mean, people that were in the space in 2017 and experienced 80-90% corrections, and also the crypto window, are probably hardened now and have massive biceps from holding their bags. But yeah, if you're new to cryptocurrency, just expect that you're in it for the long run. I'm not a financial advisor. Just be sure that you're aware that if you put money into it, it's possible that you can lose everything. It's possible. You never know. I don't know what's going to happen. It's possible there's a hack. It's probably unlikely, but you never really know. Gunter, actually, someone said about validator. If I'm going to run my own validator, I believe Bank Chamber asked me if I want to run. Gunter, you asked Bank Chamber is going to run his validator node. Me, I know this question is not asked to me, but me personally, I'm not going to be running my validator node because I do not have the time. It's definitely quite a bit of time that is required to manage the validator properly, to make sure everything is set up correctly, to troubleshoot some issues that you've got. And I mean, I did do quite a lot of tutorials, but now you have to think that you're actually putting $32,000 on the line, and this could be gone or locked up for 2 years without any access to it. So me personally, I won't be, because I just lack the time. I'm creating the videos, and I'm actually also working. Unfortunately, I still can't do this full time. Hopefully I will be able to do that soon. And I'm also studying at the same time. So I've got quite a bit on my plate. And yeah, the troubleshooting aspect, especially if you're away, it's definitely time consuming. Also, if you're traveling at the moment, you can't really travel, but yeah. It's definitely something time consuming. So this is my main gripe with the Ethereum blockchain, is that the staking is actually extremely difficult for people that are not technically savvy. If you're just normal script kiddie and so on, and you try and start staking and with the Ethereum blockchain, it's actually quite a bit challenging. And if you do something wrong, then you've got $32,000 that's down the drain. So there are quite a lot of things, and it's unfortunate. I see on the ETH Staker subreddit quite a few people that get slashed because they didn't actually do enough research, and they run 2 validators with the same private key, and then that is an issue on the Ethereum 2.0 blockchain, because that causes a slashable event. So yeah, if someone's actually interested in becoming a validator, I do recommend using a testnet first. Even though I believe the Paramount testnet at the moment is suffering because people started to give up. Yeah, it's definitely quite a bit challenging compared to Cardano, which is actually a breeze to start staking there. I've got quite a big bag of Cardano, as I see that as a hedge to my Ethereum position. And yeah, there you can just actually stake. You can delegate your staked amount easily to a staking pool. They're using something called delegated proof of stake, which means that you're actually telling these staking pools that they can use your amount of CADA as a voting power to vote for new blocks. And that also gives them more weighting for receiving blocks. So in my opinion, I'm a pretty big fan of the way that the staking works on Cardano. I'm a big fan of Cardano as well. Like I just mentioned, it's my Ethereum hedge. Should something not really work out with the Ethereum 2.0 blockchain, I've got Cardano as a backup, since I really like what they're doing. Even though they're still quite far behind in terms of dApps, it's possible that they could actually catch up pretty fast with some implementations that they've done concerning the ERC20 and smart contract converter, the KVM and the Yele, which will allow anyone, or most programming languages to be used to create smart contracts. So I think that's pretty good. So Cardano is yeah, I believe Cardano has the same mechanism, similar mechanism as Tezos. I believe they've got their own consensus mechanism. Yeah, Polkadot is pretty big, pretty good as well. Yeah, I would not see Polkadot, or I would not put Polkadot as a direct contender to Ethereum. They're actually more of a enabler, like allowing the Ethereum blockchain to perform a lot better, and also other blockchains by connecting them together. So Polkadot is more of a enabler, and Cardano, in my opinion, is more of a contender. So let's quickly look at this pretty good article by Richard Burton, and I think this is pretty good because this gives a bit of a long-term outlook on Ethereum and decentralized finance, to be more precise. And this is actually super important. I think the big picture is always very important because it allows you to zoom out, to focus less on the current price, and realize that we're actually in something that is phenomenal. And I think it's incredible that me and we are able to be part of this. Is like the birth of the internet, but on a much larger scale. So Rick Burton, he talks about the open source finance. In other words, it's the decentralized finance movement, and this open source finance will actually revolutionize the whole financial space. Not only the financial space, the real estate space, a lot of things. So here he actually talks about some of the main proponents for this open source finance and what it would do. So founder energy, there's a lot of people that can actually start building applications without asking for permission. There was a nice tweet I saw a bit ago where the founder of Aave actually said that you don't really have to enter partnership with another DeFi app. Very often they've just got some call commands that you can call with your smart contract, and then you're already interacting with their DeFi app. And that's fantastic. The founder energy that he's talking about is the interoperability between all of the dApps in the decentralized finance space is pretty good. It creates a massive network effect. And you've also got the lower barrier to entry. Anyone around the world that has a good internet connection, laptop, and a little bit of funds can start developing apps without having to ask for permission. In the worst case, he can start some kind of ERC20 token to get some funds for his project. And if he's got the know-how and the skills to develop smart contracts on the Ethereum blockchain, well, no one's stopping him from doing that. So this is pretty good. Increased competition for the financial space, developer mindshare, like I mentioned, open experimentation, like many of the cryptocurrency projects, mostly released by Andre Cronje. Powerful infrastructure. So he believes 50% of the world's asset will be stored on this system in 50 years. And 50% of the world's assets, that is massive. I mean, this is incredible. So they were talking about several quadrillion US dollars. And I'm not sure if you've already seen, there's a really awesome chart that shows actually all of the money in the world with little blocks, and you've got the cryptocurrency space, which is like incredibly small. I mean, it's below $1 trillion US dollars, so it's just like tiny, it's minuscule. And then you've got gold, you've got currency, which is also pretty big. Gold is I believe $7 trillion US dollars, and the currency of the world is probably around 9 or 12 trillion US dollars. And you've got the biggest companies. I mean, look, Berkshire Hathaway is several times bigger than the whole cryptocurrency space. I mean, imagine if just a few percentage of gold, a few percentage of of the currencies of the world in value is actually running on Ethereum or a similar type of technology. I mean, it doesn't have to be Ethereum, but I believe that if a part of this is running on on different blockchains in the cryptocurrency space, then most cryptos that you hold will increase massively in value. I mean, look at the stock markets. I believe the stock markets, it's around 100 trillion US dollars, and the derivatives markets is actually 500 trillion US dollars. So yeah, I did make a one video where I was talking about all of these money supplies. You can look at it on my channel where I say ETH to 30,000, which definitely is a moonshot from here. I mean, 10,000 is already the moon for many of us. But if we look at it on a scale of 10 years, 20 years, and Ethereum is still around with a new optimized technology, then yeah, it's possible that it increases a lot more in value. But yeah, it's a lot of ifs. First, they have to implement Ethereum 2.0, otherwise the DeFi space is just not going to thrive. Since at the moment, with every new user that's coming to the DeFi space, people are just suffering from the high fees. So, Applicax, is this the right time to sell ETH? I guess you're saying ETH. Check out my channel. I actually uploaded a snippet from the stream that I did the day before, where I talk about should I sell ETH now, and actually go through all of the scenarios that you can do. Since you cannot really time the market, I don't know your finances, this is something that you need to decide for yourself. Kierin, what's your biggest degen token at the moment? I'm not actually following any degen tokens at all. I tried, I actually invested in Pond. Unfortunately, I didn't do too well. At the moment, most ERC20 tokens are not performing that great. A few larger cap coins are performing pretty well. Some DeFi tokens are doing pretty well. I mean, in my opinion, it depends on what you want. If you want like super high risk, I think I'm aiming more towards less riskier projects, but then also not 100x. So yeah, I'm already happy with the gains I'm getting with ETH and Cardano and BTC at the moment, and I realized I lost much too much ETH during the DeFi summer by aping into too many unaudited projects, getting rug pulled, or some other type of exploits like LBI, Eminence, and yeah, I mean, I knew what I was doing, but I guess had I not lost those ETH there, I'd be up by a bit more. So yeah, this is definitely for a long-term outlook. I think you need to always zoom out. I mean, 1K ETH, it's beautiful, it's nice. Yeah. YJ, in one of your videos, you suggested Pond as 100x coin. Do you still stand by your words? I mean, I still got the tokens. It definitely lost quite a bit of value, but that's something to expect. Some of them work out fantastically, some of them don't. I just wait and see. So possibly when BTC and ETH are skyrocketing, very often smaller cap coins lose in value because people jump away from the smaller cap coins and move into BTC and ETH because they've got a lot of FOMO, so they sell all of their coins, and that's probably why the project lost quite a bit of value. Yeah, that's talking about my Pond recommendation. So unfortunately, that wasn't the best entry that I had. I believe I entered at 4 cents, and now it's possibly at 2.5 cents. So a bit lower than what I'd hoped. But yeah, let's see. I mean, I always go into these projects knowing what kind of risk I'm taking and expecting that I'll lose everything, as I've done it with other coins. But then you've got other projects which actually then do perform super well, and then you get 10x return. So I think you also always have to look at these degen projects with that in mind. You have to expect that a few won't really perform and others will perform really well. So for example, the EasyFi project I recommended that actually performed really well. It went up to $10 from $2. Keeper, ETH I've been talking about quite a lot over the last year. That performed also extremely well, but that's not really a degen. It was a degen project probably at the beginning of 2017 when a friend of mine, he told me to buy Ethereum, and then I looked at it and I thought like no, I'll stick with Bitcoin. Unfortunately I cannot roll back time, so yeah. So JP Morgan sees 146,000 plus Bitcoin price as long-term target. I think so. It's pretty fascinating to see JP Morgan so bullish on Bitcoin, because they were so strong contrarians in 2017, and I remember the Jamie Dimon talking on live stream about how he thinks that people that invest in Bitcoin are just like idiots, and now they're on the Bitcoin bandwagon, as they probably already filled their positions quite a lot. I'm reading comments. Benjamin Kierin, I show you a degen I aped, won't sell because selling burns supply. It's Polkadot ecosystem chat. It's wild. The community is quite large for 1 million market cap. I'll check it out later on and I'll see. I definitely made quite a few bad bets with degen aping into stuff. So yeah. So I think 146,000 is actually a pretty moderate amount in the next 5 years. I believe my price target for the end of 2021 for BTC was around 100k. And I mean, 100k is not really that much, to be honest. I mean, it's only around 3.5 or 3x from here. So yeah, 3x in the cryptocurrency space is not really a massive amount. So 100k by the end of 2021 is definitely possible. And the funny thing is, like, with every 10% that Bitcoin gains, you've got like an additional $3,500 US. But people tend to like big numbers. They don't really understand or see that maybe a jump from 17 cents to 22 cents is a lot larger in percentage wise. And yeah, it's like that. 146k is nothing. Yeah, I'm pretty bullish on Bitcoin as well. Tech con Edison. Hola, saludos desde Lima, Perú. No hablo español bueno. Yeah, I can't speak Spanish. I can speak Italian, but no Spanish. Isaac, Ethereum sell because third top or hold? I think you should watch my should I sell Ethereum video on my channel. I think it's one of the last videos that I posted. Applicax, what do you think about polling or being liquidity provider in Uniswap or Just Swap or 1inch? And is it make sense to pull $100 there or something? I actually made a video on providing liquidity on Uniswap. You can check it out. I'm a pretty big fan of it. The only problem at the moment is that being a liquidity provider is possibly only profitable with more than $10,000 US. So $100 is not profitable at the moment due to the gas fees that you have to pay. At the moment, unfortunately, the gas fees on the Ethereum blockchain are just like tremendously high. You'll be paying several hundred gwei for a smart contract call, and that's just terrible. So for $100 that you're locking up into maybe Uniswap, yeah, you'll probably be paying $40-50 in fees, and then it just no point. So I think at the moment it's better if you just either buy ETH and you hold it. You could probably, yeah, I think that's possibly the best scenario, and maybe read and learn about all of the DeFi apps and maybe try a few. But like I said, the gas fees at the moment just make DeFi unusable, which is quite unfortunate. So let's look at what we else have, and this is actually the biggest bullish news I have for you today. This is really interesting. It's actually not this one, it's this one. Largest US banking regulator allows banks to use public blockchain and USD stablecoins for payments. And I think this is actually super bullish news, because the only stablecoin provider at the moment is Ethereum blockchain, with quite a few stablecoins. I mean, you've got the popular ones like DAI, USDC. Yeah, I'm not so fan of USDT, even though it's used on quite many exchanges. I prefer USDC. I recommend that you use USDC as a stablecoin instead of USDT. Then you've also got some algorithmic stablecoins. I'm not the biggest fan of those. I mean, you've got like DSD, you've got Amperforth and so on, because they're not really stable with the low market caps that they have. So they fluctuate quite a lot. But this is actually really fantastic, because the OCC, this is the regulator, he's giving banks the green light to treat public chains like Ethereum or Polkadot when they have that, or Cardano when they also offer that, as Swift, ACH and Fedwire. And this has the market, of course, excited and super bullish, calling a big win for crypto and stablecoins. This is really, really big. This means that they can actually issue their own stablecoins. They can hold stablecoins as collateral. They could buy DAI. I'm not 100% sure what all the use case is going to be, but I'm super bullish. At the moment, there's no other blockchain that's offering as many stablecoins as the Ethereum blockchain is doing at the moment. So YK, any thoughts on Linkcoin? Yeah, I'm a pretty big fan of Link. I believe in my 5 coins for incredible wealth video, I actually talk quite a bit about Link. I give some solid arguments on why I believe it's a fantastic coin for 2021. I mean, it's bringing off-chain data onto the blockchain so that smart contracts can actually interact with this off-chain data. They've got a lot of smart contract DeFi apps that are using them as an oracle. So they're pretty big. They had massive growth in 2020 with the amount of partnerships. So I recommend that you watch that video that I just mentioned. It's 5 coins for incredible wealth in 2021. So you can look at that on my channel. I think it's the 4th to the 5th video. I posted that last week. Andrew Jones, remember when ETH was $100? Yeah, Pippa Ridge Farm remembers that as well. $100, that was fantastic. I remember when it dipped in March. Nice. I got quite a few ETH. Then I believe it dipped down to $89, $90 range. But if you remembered the ETH from $100 when it was in 2017, that was also pretty crazy. So yeah, so this is definitely something I'm really happy about, the banks being able to actually use stable coins. They're going to be able to actually interact with the cryptocurrency space, and I believe this is pretty good, because it means that they're not contrarians anymore towards cryptocurrency, and they want to actually work with cryptocurrency projects, with the technology and so on. Applicax, I'm crying now. I bought ETH at $985. Well, I mean, it's below it's below $1,000 US. I'm pretty sure you'd actually like the following meme, Applicax. Y'all got any more of that sub $1,000 ETH? So yeah, you should actually be happy you're below the $1,000 mark. I mean, it's possible that we actually go back down onto 1,000, but yeah, consider yourself lucky, I guess. So back to the banks. So I think this is super. This is just like summarized. OCC just opened the floodgates for stablecoins. Every bank is about to have a stablecoin strategy. Fact, Ethereum is the largest stablecoin settlement network by far. And fact, every stablecoin transaction increases the scarcity and value of ETH. Pretty fantastic. ETH wins. So if you don't already know Aave, a quick announcement. I really like to thank my sponsor for this video, and they are Aave. Aave is a liquidity protocol. They actually act like your bank in the decentralized finance space. You can actually put some funds on here, and you can earn pretty healthy returns on your stable coins. So for example, with DAI, you can earn 5.96%. The past 30-day average was 9.89%. USDC 6.88%. So I think it's a pretty good way to actually use the DeFi space, and Aave as your banking alternative for a small amount of funds that you want to lock up, earn some interest on it. So that's why I do recommend trying out Aave today. You can actually sign up for free without KYC. This is really useful. I was using them way before I got sponsored by them. So really happy about the stuff that they've been doing. And it's one of the number one DeFi platforms. If you look at DeFi Pulse, it's got $2 billion US dollars in liquidity locked up. So they're pretty fantastic. Bank Chamber, Kierin, where do you predict the new bottom price target in 2 years for ETH BTC? So I guess you're talking about the lowest price that ETH should reach in the next 2 years. I think it's like, let's assume that Ethereum 2.0 phase 2 has been implemented. I would say around above 5k. That would be like between 5k and 10k would be like the lower amount. Yeah, that would be my price prediction. The lower. I mean, of course, it really depends on this Ethereum 2.0 upgrade, since at the moment, the more users that come onto the DeFi space, it just the Ethereum blockchain just becomes unusable. That means you cannot actually, the Ethereum blockchain cannot profit from the network effect with a lot of people coming onto the blockchain, because the more people coming, the more expensive it gets. So yeah, they're going to have to solve that. And that, in my opinion, layer 2 solutions is not the best solution, in my opinion, since you're going to still have a lot of expensive on and off ramping fees for layer 2 solutions. This is pretty interesting. I'm sure for people that were here during the 2017 bull run, this is actually Google search volume for Ethereum. So this actually shows that, of course, now there's a lot more people flocking to YouTube, to different forums, to different exchanges, because they actually see the price of ETH skyrocketing, and they're like thinking, oh no, I missed the boat. And that's very often when a lot of people come and ask, is it time to buy? Is it a good time to buy? Is it a good time to sell? So yeah, this puts actually things into perspective. So this is the current, or nearly the current search volume for Ethereum, and this was actually in January 2018. This was during the ICO bubble phase, where people were just like buying any type of ICO and they could get their hands upon, and they were making like 10x returns. I've had some fantastic ICOs I bought. Unfortunately, they didn't perform that well. They actually performed terribly over the last 2 years. I think most of them are dead by then. So the only way you could actually profit from the ICO boom is if you bought and then you sold right at the beginning, which is unfortunate because it left a lot of investors dry and holding super big bags. I remember I invested in one ICO. It was called Car Vertical at the time. It was showed by Superman. I'm ashamed to say that I did watch quite a few of his videos at the time. And yeah, I remember like I put 2 ETH worth of that was the funding amount into the Car Vertical ICO. I actually lost out in 15% of the tokens because I didn't set a high enough gas fee for the ICO. That was one mistake I did. And then afterwards, when actually the tokens were released onto a decentralized exchange at the time, I think they were like 10 or actually even 20x the value. And I was like, wow, this is fantastic, but I'm not going to sell. And then I kept onto it, and then the price dropped. It went back down. I had maybe only 20 ETH profit, and I said, okay, now I can't sell because I believe it will go back up again. And then it dropped even more, and I ended up selling. I did have some profit. I think I had like 2x profit at the end. But it just shows that during these mania phases, greed overpowers a lot of people, and you think that there's never going to be a dip again. The prices will just continue to rise and rise. And yeah, that's just in the cryptocurrency space. You learn that greed is a really powerful thing. It powers a lot of people. It makes them think differently. It will make you interact with people differently. So money changes people, which is unfortunate. But this is just here to show we're actually only at search volume 52, and during the cryptocurrency phase we were at search volume 100. So it shows we're probably pretty early, even if the price is very close to the all-time high of 2017. So that means I believe we've still got quite a bit of upside before a lot of people flock to the Ethereum blockchain, because we're pretty early. And back during 2017, we didn't really have all of the fantastic DeFi platforms that we have today. There was no Uniswap, no DYDX, no Hedgic, no 1inch exchange, no Aave. So yeah, we've gone a long way. Gunter, recently I bought Hedgic. Can you share your viewpoint on the same? Hedgic is pretty good. It's a platform that allows you to, I believe you're talking about Hedgic, the asset management platform. It's pretty good. I haven't gone into details, so I can't really give you a review about it. But yeah, it's on my radar. I've looked at it a little bit. There's so many projects. It's really difficult to keep track of all of them. Yeah, that two ETH will be worth 20 to 40k one day, hopefully. So I think we'll skip this. This is a funny post I saw on Reddit. This is a guy back in 2014. He got a message from a friend. This was during the ICO, the Ethereum ICO. He actually was asked to participate in the Ethereum ICO by a friend, and at the time 1 BTC was worth $622, so you know how early that was. And yeah, he was able to buy 2,000, like he could have bought 2,000 Ether at the time. So for 41 more days you can pick up 2,000 Ether for around 1 BTC. You can obviously pick up less depending on how much BTC you have available. So I'd recommend picking up some up. This platform has the potential to be epic. Yeah, unfortunately he didn't buy any at the time, and he's kicking himself. So yeah, that's pretty tragic. So talking about XRP, I'm not sure if you're like super interested in XRP stuff. I'm not the biggest fan of Ripple due to the fact that they follow a bit of a different vision than I'm trying to follow with the decentralized finance space. Like I prefer to get as far away as possible from banks, and Ripple is like working with banks and so on. But yeah, the whole stuff with the SEC has been a pretty bad blow to many investors. And as you probably saw, the price dipping crazily over the last few weeks with ETH. No, sorry, with XRP dropping more than 50% or 60% of its value. And now this newly Grayscale sells all XP in large cap fund for Bitcoin and ETH. It shows that they've also lost trust in the future of Ripple and XRP as a digital asset. So this is pretty bad. I mean, I'm not a big fan of FUD, because I think FUD creates causes people to sell and be led with their emotions. But I think it's pretty important to look at the big picture and the fundamentals behind the company and see if it fits your investment strategy. Me personally, I believe that the breach of trust from Garlinghouse and co, it like creates a really bad image for the Ripple company. And the other thing with them dumping on investors over the last few years is definitely not something great. I've got a few friends that are like heavily invested in XRP, and they were like talking about it nonstop over the last 2 years. Like they were like, one friend is like all in on XRP. So yeah, unfortunately for them, it's pretty bad. The last few weeks have been terrible. But yeah, I think that's a very I think you can learn something from that, and that's diversification. Diversifying your portfolio is probably the best way to go about. So don't go all in on ETH, don't go all in on Bitcoin, don't go all in on Cardano. Try and have a diversified portfolio, because you never really know what can happen to one of these blockchains. Anything could happen. I mean, no one really expected that to happen with the SEC. So Bank Chamber, I'm retired, spending 50 hours a week researching, listening, watching. It's overwhelming. No one person can get a grip on this boom. I wish I had so much time like researching Bank Chamber. You should definitely start a YouTube channel and start sharing your research. You're pretty knowledgeable after I've talked with you quite a bit. So yeah, it would be pretty good to dig your thoughts. I dumped my whole XRP bag lately. That's probably a pretty good decision. I mean, you never really know. It's possible it pumps again, but to be honest, there are so many other opportunities. So if you don't mind sharing, what else did you buy with that XRP bag that you had? Michael Abu Krat, do you think a correction is imminent? It's so bullish right now. It really reminds me of 2017, so I don't want to re-jump while it's so high, but it could be worth way more this year. So hesitating. Very difficult. No one can predict the future. If I could, I would go long 100x and retire tomorrow. So as a quick answer to that, dollar cost average is probably the easiest and safest way to have some exposure to the cryptocurrency space without risking buying the top. Dollar cost averaging is not always the most profitable strategy, but it's definitely the safest. So yeah, probably dollar cost averaging, but I'm not a financial advisor. This is just my own opinion. And like I mentioned that before with the search volume, we're only here. Like search volume 52, that means not that many people are searching. Definitely a lot more than in January 2020, but not as much as in 2017. So that's why we're still way earlier than 2017 in terms of search volume. Hopefully that gives you a better picture. So yeah, I think this is the last one about XRP, and that's just the amount of whales has decreased. That means addresses holding more than 1 million XRP has decreased by quite a lot. So yeah. Hey guys, selling your losses isn't necessarily a bad thing. If you're aware you get taxed, you can get at least harvest some losses and move on to more promising fields. That's a very good input from Bank Chamber. There's a few things that you have to think about, and I think this is actually from Warren Buffett, and it's his strategy on losing trades. And selling at a loss is actually something that you have to learn on how to do, because it's very difficult to do emotionally. No one really likes losing money. But you have to put it like this. If you buy an asset and it drops 10%, then you will only have to make like 11 or 12% return on another asset to break even. If it drops 20%, then you probably have to do like 24, 25% return on another asset to break even. But where it actually gets scary is where you actually start, if you lose value, for example, you lose 50% in value on an asset, then you actually have to make back the double. So you have to get 100% gains on another asset to break even. And it gets even more scary if you go down to 60, 70, 80%, 90% losses. I mean, at 90% losses, you have to do a 9x on another coin to break even. So I think that's why it's super important, maybe at the 20 or 30% range. If it's something that you don't really have plans on keeping for a super long period of time, like if it's not a top cap coin in the top 50, then possibly cut your losses at minus 20% or minus 30%, because if you start going into the range of minus 50%, minus 70%, then it's really, really difficult to get back those losses. So at some point, you're going to have to cut off your bags and accept that that project is not going anywhere. And you also have to look at it from a missing opportunity. So you've got these opportunity costs, the capital that you've got locked up in a project that is maybe not performing as well or performing terribly. You can maybe look at some other projects and think about their fundamentals and see if they fit your long-term investment goals a lot better. So this is going to be the last topic of the evening. The stream is coming to an end soon. Make sure to smash the like button, and if you're enjoying this, make sure to also hit that subscribe button if you want more such insights. I'll possibly be doing a few other live streams this week, as I've still got 1 week of holidays. So yeah, definitely make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, hit the bell notification so that you're informed, and also stay up to date by following me on Twitter under @YourDeFiGuide. You can also share with me articles, projects that you want me to review, and so on. So let's get to the big projects coming to Polkadot. And a few of them have been mentioned by a few members of mine. I still have to do a lot more research into these projects, but I've read a bit about them, and they do seem promising. So this is on the Polkadot blockchain. The first project that is really interesting is called Frontier. So Polkadot brings a lot of interoperability between blockchains, and I'm just going to read this. Frontier is an Ethereum substrate compatibility program that's set to be released this year. So Substrate is a modular, extensible blockchain network that makes it easier to build custom blockchains and Polkadot parachains. Now this does seem pretty complicated. You can probably compare Frontier with like a Lego box with many different pieces, and you can put it together, build your own custom blockchain, and these parachains which are very important for the Polkadot ecosystem. Basically, parachains enable different blockchains to increase the scalability, because if one parachain has a lot of transactions, it can like create another parachain, and other transactions can run on that other parachain. It's rather complicated, but to put it simply, all of these buzzwords mean that it runs super fast. cheap, and it makes the creation of new blockchains easy for developers. It's like a template for developers. So that's how to put it in an easy way. So here's a bit of a additional explainer of Frontier. Frontier is the substrate's Ethereum compatibility layer. Allows you to run an unmodified Ethereum dApp. So that means all of the Ethereum dApps will be sorry, I'll rephrase that. Frontier's substrate Ethereum's compatibility layer. That means that unmodified Ethereum dApps will be able to run on Frontier. Copy paste running on Frontier, and that's fantastic because if they're running on Frontier, running on Polkadot, the fees go down and the scalability goes up. So yeah, Gavin Wood, the founder and lead developer of Polkadot, said that the program was almost completely done in his end of the year blog post, adding that it will lead a major interoperability movement within the blockchain. So this is definitely a very interesting project to follow. I'll definitely be doing a more in-depth video about all of these free ones here that I found. Then we've got Moonbeam. I was looking at the Moonbeam project a while ago, another Ethereum compatible smart contract parachain on Polkadot. So Moonbeam is set to reach its fully functionality in 2021. So while a big part of Moonbeam's functionality relies on implementation on Frontier, the blockchain also has a set unique features that target Ethereum developers. Again, trying to bring Ethereum developers onto the Polkadot ecosystem. So aside from being an Ethereum virtual machine implementation on Polkadot, so basically Moonbeam is very similar to the Ethereum virtual machine. So it basically allows Ethereum developers to run their dApps on Polkadot thanks to Moonbeam. Moonbeam is also a highly specialized layer 1.5 chain that mirrors Ethereum's Web3 RPC. So as you can see, these two projects are actually piggybacking on the success of Ethereum, hopefully bringing dApps onto the Polkadot blockchain, increasing the scalability, reducing the fees. And this is one of the biggest pain points for the Ethereum blockchain at the moment. Bank Chamber, my knowledge base is probably the strongest in Polkadot. I find it the most interesting for me. Yeah, definitely send me an email at some point if you've got the time with some of your favorite resources, and I'll gladly dive into those to read more on the Polkadot blockchain. I would really appreciate that, of course, only if you've got the time. Berozzi, really appreciate your support. Definitely hit the like. Who's excited to have held the 32 ETH since it's under $100? Yeah, congrats. That's definitely some good hodling there. So the third project is Akala. This is a project that also has been mentioned by one of my long-term subscribers, Bank Chamber. Akala is the first stablecoin to launch natively on Polkadot, but it's much more than just a stablecoin. They're also implementing they're also like a type of MakerDAO liquidity provider platform that should give liquidity to many different blockchains. So they will be adding the AUSD, the Akala dollar, and it's at the moment still in the testnet. So I believe many of the Polkadot DeFi apps are still in the testnet, so I'll definitely be trying out Polkadot DeFi apps as soon as it's possible when they're on the mainnet. So this is pretty interesting. Akala is set to launch on both Kusama and Polkadot this year, as well as enable derivative and DEX trading of a USD. So the derivative space is thriving, and it's possibly also going to be very lucrative on Polkadot. So if you see some derivative platforms running on Polkadot, those are probably pretty good investments because they're going to mirror the success of synthetics. So yeah, that was it for this video. It's a long one. If you've got any questions, just write them in the chat. I'll stay online for a few more minutes, answer some burning questions that you have. I really appreciate all the support and feedback I've been getting, and I really enjoy these live streams, so I hope you enjoy watching them. Hope the quality, video quality and audio quality is great for you guys. So yeah, there's no more questions. I'm gonna close the stream. Thanks a lot for your attention. I'll catch you in the next video. Have a good one. Peace.